You know, jazz players, they sing and play at the same time. What's up, everyone, and welcome to FAQ 166. Is that a good angled camera? No, it's not. Okay, let's fix that. You might wonder, why am I not doing this before? Well, that's because I don't know. I actually have a bunch of really great questions today, so let's just head straight into it. Golden Waves has a question. Hey Ola, for next FAQ, what do you think about the Canadian power thrash metal band Unleash the Archer? Hope I did not repeat the question. Number 2 is, let's just say that the English version of a particular Swedish idiom or idiot. Thanks and keep the good stuff coming. Unleash the Archer, man. Okay, let's check it out. I don't think I know what this band is, but they have a shit ton of views, that's for sure. Sounds very promising, I must say. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, he's got the legs, baby, for that stance. I mean, it's incredibly cheesy. That means I love it, okay? I must say, this is really fucking catchy. Holy shit. I was just here. It was great. Love the song. I don't know why I haven't checked out this band before. Maybe because it's power metal, just, you know, slips by. There's just so many bands out there, man. Did I have a new album coming or something? I want to review something like this for Metal Morning. Anyway, that's Unleash the Archers, like right there. Holy shit. In 240p, might I add. Carter Estelle, hey Ola, question for next FAQ. Who was your go-to guide when you started mixing? I just recently started learning production. I can track well, but mixing is a whole other story. Tell me about it. I was recently listening to Winter, and I love your mix. And okay, Winter is not my mix. It's Jocke Skog made a mix of that album. The last album I mixed was Feared Synder. Okay, but and before that it was Fury Incarnatus. And after that, I just decided, 1, I'm not good enough doing mixing, and 2, I hate mixing because it takes all my time. I never get happy, and 2, it's just better to leave this with people that know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Even if I've been mixing for so long, I still feel that I'm not getting a grasp of it. I mean, I can make songs for, you know, YouTube demos and for Sunday with Ola and whatnot, but for albums, it's just another. It's nicer to have someone that can lift whatever you're doing and maybe even add a little bit, like a real producer. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm just too lonely, and you need to have that second input with some things. And that's why I feel it's pretty good to have a guy who just takes his own spin on your shit, basically. What was the question? Any plans for some tutorials in the future? Also, hello from Montana. Been here since the beginning. That's cool, man. Just because of this, obviously, I'm not gonna do too much mixing tutorials. There's so many other mixing guys out there, and I just don't consider myself being, you know, someone you would listen to if someone's interested in mixing anything. Who was your go-to guy when you started mixing? When I started mixing, it was basically just trial and error, man. Eventually I joined the Andy Sneap forum. That was like in 2001, and I learned a lot of shit there, I must say. But if it comes to books, sometimes I read books. And I still have one of the books that I bought early in my mixing progress. And it might seem like I prepared for this, and maybe I did, but I brought it out. So I bought this early in my mixing career, probably like early 2003 or something like that. When is this? 2002. Okay, Tim Critch, Recording Tips for Engineers for Cleaner, Brighter Tracks. This was a book I was reading a little bit, not religiously, but it was just nice to have a book that I could go to and check some, individual parts of mixing for, like, how do you record an acoustic guitar, how do you record a kick drum, etc. It's all in here, man. Because when I started out, there wasn't really that much information online, not as much as there is today, at least. So this was just really helpful, man. And it seems that I marked this with a little post-it note right there. What was that? Let's check. What was Ola trying to learn back in the day? Kick drum equalization. Well, there you go. Boost around 2.5 to 5 kilohertz for a solid thwack. Great. So this was actually a book I was reading. I don't read books anymore. This is probably the last book I was reading. It was back in like 2002 or 2003, something like that. That's a little tip for you right there. No, there won't be any tutorials. That's just not my thing to do. Producing guitar, maybe. Okay? Maybe. I mean, that's more of my thing, miking up a guitar amp and do that shit. That's more of my thing to do. Culty fact. Fact question. What was the most crucial moment or video in your career that made you decide to go fully into the YouTube industry? How did you explain it to the people close to you who were skeptical about such decision? And how long did it take for them and you to realize that it was worth the risk? Well, this was in 2012. I know exactly when it was. It was when I went to NAMM for the first time, Winter NAMM in Los Angeles, and I went there, and I was just a little blown away about how many people came up to me and thanked me for my videos. This was, after all, the first time I was out in public. It's easy when you're sitting on YouTube and you see, figures of views and whatnot, and it's really hard to kind of grasp the reality of who these people are. So when I went to NAMM, there were just so many people that came up to me and thanked me for my videos. I was like, holy shit, I need to kind of push this forward. And this was 2012, and I quit my day job as an accountant. That was a job I had been doing that for a very long time. I wasn't an accountant for a long time, but I was working at a company that I grew into. I was their first employee and I was working as a driver. I did like customer service, I did B2B, and eventually accounting, and then controlling at the end. Basically, this company I've been with for a long, long time, probably almost 7 or 8 years. And I quit that job. Obviously, that was a secure income. And going from that to YouTube, which was definitely not a secure income, was a very big step. I think it took me and Luis just had, we had a 2-year-old. Our son was 2 years old back then. It was definitely a leap of faith, let's just say that. But then, I was asked to join 6 Feet Under, and a lot of shit happened at that time, which made my channel grow a lot. So, I don't know, it went a little too quick for people to be worried, I think. And there wasn't really a point where it was like, oh shit, this is not really going to go well. It kind of flew off immediately as I had as I quit my job to go full-time on YouTube. Also, a little bit of luck, obviously, because, I got the call from Chris Barnes to go play with 6 Feet Under. And then also same year was when I joined The Haunted. I got a call from the guys in The Haunted. So a lot of things happened that year. There you go. Have not regretted it since, obviously. Borislav Sahariev, Fakola, greetings from Bulgaria, huge fan here. I've got a question. What keeps you motivated to do this after so much time? I've been a musician and I find myself struggling with motivations nowadays. Okay, let's try and split this up somehow. Making the YouTube videos, that's one thing. That's another type of being a creator, I would say. And then there's the music part. And I think you're asking about the music part. The video part is easy. It's part of what I do. I still love guitar gear. I still love just doing my shit and, experiment with guitars and pedals and instruments and whatnot. That's like an endless source of motivation right there, because there's just so much gear and so much news happening, and there's always something to cover and whatnot. And it's just, that part is easy. The musical part is probably the toughest thing you could do. Like just recording an album and release an album, that's just so much work. I mean, you have to write the songs, you have to record, produce, drummer, lyrics. There's a lot to it. Then you have to mix it, then you have to wait. And since it's a long process of you doing that, I mean, life happens. You know, while you're recording an album, life happens, and you know, you go up and down. It's such a span of time when you record an album. It's really hard to keep, you know, the inspiration and motivation at top at all times, especially when life happens at the side. I know that when everything is getting put together at the end, you know, when you get your first mix and you hear everything come to a conclusion and you hear, you know, what could be the final product, that is my inspiration to write music. You know, when you start with the riff or whatever, it's really hard to hear what it could be, and it might be really hard to hear if this is a good riff or not, is this gonna be a song or not. When you're there, it's just so incredibly rewarding. Since it doesn't happen that often, I mean, I don't release albums every now and then, and since it takes a lot of work, it's really important to remember this, that the end result is really, really rewarding. And for me, it doesn't matter how many people listen to it. It's just like, when you come to that point, you hear that, okay, shit, maybe this is something I'm really, really proud about. And that makes me really happy and really motivated. But then you forget about that as the album is released and people stop listening to the album and you have to write a new one. That is an uphill battle, and you just gotta get through it, man. Good question, I like that. Kevin Rogerson, fuck, hi Ola, I'm a long-time Ibanez player, but I like what solo guitars are putting out right now, looking to purchase. I'm very used to the Ibanez Wizard style necks, so I was wondering how the solo necks compare to Ibanez necks in terms of feel of shreddability, really. Thanks, greetings from Scotland. I think a lot of you guys know that I'm an avid Ibanez fan, and I'm a big fan of the Wizard neck. However, sometimes I feel like the Wizard neck is a little too flat, maybe a tad too thin. And that slight little D shape that they have, it's nice, but I just want something that's a little bit rounder, and I think that's what we're doing with solo guitars. It's just a little bit rounder, still thin of a neck, but it fills out your hand a little bit, like a slight bit. So it's definitely more of a C shape rather than the D shape of the Ibanez. And I feel, even though I'm not a shredder, I feel like these are made to be shredders. It's all about taste, man. I mean, I fucking love my Ibanez Universe and my JPM right there. They're both really fucking good guitars with excellent necks on them. It all comes down to taste, I would say. I don't know. It might not be for you. It may be. Who knows? Daniel Narvaez. Fuck, hi Ola, hope you're doing awesome. I recently got a Kemper, and one of my favorite profiles is one that you made in sometimes in 2013, the H&D, Hope and Dream. That was the amplifier, Hope and Dream. Great name for an amplifier. KissY330. It chugs. Have you thought about making another Kemper pack? Tack för svaret. 2013, man. That's almost 10 years ago. How about that? 8 years, okay. Okay, calm down. I haven't had a Kemper since, but I just recently got a Kemper stage and a Kemper cab that I'm fiddling around a little bit with, and I'll try and make some profiles for that. I think the Hope and Dream profile, I think it comes in the Kemper, or did they remove it? I don't know. There was a couple of profiles that were included in the Kemper when you purchase one. I just need to update myself on what's happening on the Kemper side. I just stayed out of the loop, but I'll definitely try and make a cool profile with that when I get around to do it, okay? Dave, hi Ola, your IRs say that they're an imprint of a power amp cab microphone. Does that mean it isn't usable with an amplifier, speaker cable, load box with cab sim setup like the Captor X? Could I go from the effects loop, send on my straight to the load box and not break anything? The Captor X, can you load in impulse responses into the Captor X? If you can load in my impulse response into it. Otherwise, you can use the Captor X and go, take that signal, that raw signal into your audio interface and use the cabinet impulse response in your computer. If you're interested in my impulse responses, you can go to my shop. It's up there. And I only have 2 impulse responses right now, but there will be more. I promise. No Gig Amar Safi. Fuck, is it necessary to be somewhat technical player to make a song and release them? I mean, I am playing guitar for a while and I can't play hard stuffs, but I love to record and make songs with the mediocre skills I have. Is it okay? Or what is your opinion? That? I don't care. I mean, I'm not a very, very technical player and I still do songs. And I mean, I can't play hard stuff, but I love to record and make songs with the mediocre skills I have. Who's gonna question you, really? I mean, look at my dog. She doesn't give a shit about what people think about her. You should do the same. Costa, what advice would you give to a 20-year-old guy who dreams about living as a musician, playing, writing, producing, that's doing college, studying something he doesn't want that much, and has almost no expectations of achieving his dream and being professionally satisfied because metal is no longer relevant enough these days to maintain everyone financially? Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Is metal not relevant? Who said that? I mean, this goes back to the question we had before regarding what keeps one motivated. The music should keep you motivated enough, in my opinion. Like the songs that you make and just the love for the metal. I don't think anyone started their metal career with earning enough money to make a living, in my opinion. I don't think that, at least. So, just like everyone, man, you just have to do it at the side. Ever since I was studying and working, I always had like bands and shit at the side, and that took my whole free time, basically. That's all I wanted to do, was to play with my band and write music and whatnot. And it was easy to do because I loved it so much. Obviously, I had to have a job to pay for myself and my living situation. If you want it enough, you'll just make it work. You know, and I think it's good that you're studying, because studying means that you're probably going to get a job, so you can support your financial situation. Then you can spend your free time, you know, being a rock star. And eventually, maybe you'll come to that point where you can break off your work or whatever, your studies, and do that full time. But you can't start with the idea that you're gonna make it as a musician today. That might just be sorry to hear. If you want it enough, it's easy, okay? Meat buckets, fuck my life. Hey, Ola, once we get to a point where international tours start happening again and some North American bands can make it to your IKEA-topia, what do you think the chances of having a coffee with Rob Arnold and Dean Lamb are? Well, that's what I'm saying. As you might have seen, I haven't really done many coffee with Olas. It's because of the simple fact that I want to do them in person. I made 2 or 3 maybe over Zoom or Skype, and it was terrible. I don't get a connection, you know, there's lag and shit. So I want to wait until people are back touring, and so they can come by here and we'll sit face to face. That's just so much easier. And if Dean Lamb or Rob Arnold are swinging by here, of course I'll make a coffee with them. I would love to. And hopefully I'll be able to start making the coffee with Olas again pretty soon. That guy Rigi, Ola, I'd like to ask you a future fact question. How does it feel learning a new instrument at your current age? Insert Ola's age here. It's 22. How did you get out of the mindset of being too old to learn drums, if the thought even came up? And what advice would you give anyone trying to learn a new instrument at a later point in life? Doesn't have to be a goal of being in a band or be famous, but just to enjoy the instrument. Well, there you go. You said it there at the end. Just to enjoy the instrument. For me personally, I was thinking, what? Oh, careful. Oh, that is scary. That's some scary shit right there. That's some scary shit. That's some scary shit. When I turned 40 earlier this year, I was thinking more. I was actually thinking of ways for me to work out my old ass body that's getting older and more stiff, and just find things that I could do to keep myself moving. I just thought like, why am I not playing drums? So I got this E-kit. You know, I've been practicing a couple of hours every day since I got that drum kit. I feel that this level of practicing I haven't done in a very, very long time, not even on guitar. Maybe when I started, you know, when I was learning Dream Theater and whatnot, you know, I would practice like 2 hours a day. Now I'm playing almost like 3 hours a day worth of drums. And it's just so much fun, man. I'm not doing it to make something out of it. I just want to jam some Pantera songs and some Gojira, and it's just a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. It's just a lot of fun. And now, I didn't think and anticipate that I would record drum videos using my drums, but I have now, and it's a lot of fun. So you're definitely never too old to learn, anything, and definitely not an instrument. And drums might not be the last thing or last instrument I learned. I would probably look into learning more shit. I have noticed that playing drums now has definitely challenged my brain a little bit, as in a way that it hasn't before. And we're just gonna see if that's gonna be helpful for me in the future or not. But at this moment, I'm just fucking enjoying my time playing drums. I'm working out a little bit, you know, and I'm keeping my cardio up by drumming. It's fun as fuck, man. At this point, I'm just really happy to have found something that I'm really burning for and just having so much fun with. Drums, man. Try out some drums. It's a lot of fun. Angel Balderas. Ew, I've loved watching all your vids, but you using an Apple setup just disgusts me. I still watch your videos, but please get with the tech. Apple is under AMD in CPU and GPU all the way. Oh shit. Does this mean I'm gonna lose a viewer because I'm using Apple products? I hope you don't pay too much attention to what I'm using right here. I'm using an iPad to monitor my face. Look at that, that's my face connected to the camera so I can monitor myself. I have my iPhone here, and I have my MacBook Air and my Mac Pro and my Apple screen with the Apple stand, Apple screen stand. And the CPU and the GPU sucks, man. I haven't been able to make anything out of my life for the past couple of years, right? Great! That was it. That was FAQ 166 for you right there. Hope you don't leave because I'm using Apple products. This has been my dog, Pix. Oh, Pix, you're lovely. I love you. Little Pix. Come, Pixie, come. So there you go. This is my dog, Pix. You've been watching FAQ 166. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Questions in the comment section of this video, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Thank you so much. Goodbye.